Today we live in Christchurch for the small French town of Akaroa.
We are going to see the largest little blue penguin colony on mainland New Zealand.
After a morning of Campervan certification that was pretty much useless, a bit of despair, okay, a lot of despair, and a lot of phone calls, we finally made it to Akaroa for evening activity.
But that's a story for the end of this episode. For now, we're super stoked to be joining Avril from Pohatu Penguins, who is going to be taking us to the largest little blue penguin colony of New Zealand. But getting to the colony is an adventure in itself, as we are driving through some pretty gnarly gravel roads to get to Flea Bay, and along the way we see some amazing scenery of the Akaroa harbour. Along the way, Avril shows us her favourite viewpoints and some native insects called a wetter. Once we arrive in Flea Bay though, we get a pretty enthusiastic greeting from the sheep.
It's really weird to find sheep so domesticated. They are super enthusiastic about their food. They know that every single day at the same time the tour is coming and every single tourist is wanting to feed them. After feeding those voracious beasts, we are heading to a hangar where we're gonna be giving some camo gears to disguise ourselves for the penguins.
What you doing, Laura?
They call me the Ranger of Akaroa.
The little blue penguins don't have really good eyesight, so a simple camo jacket makes them not see us around and not be too stressed during their feeding time, because yes, right now it's feeding time. As part of the conservation work that Pohatu Penguin does in the Banks Peninsula, they are rescuing all the chicks which are left behind from penguin pairs that don't come back to their nest. If they're not fed, they will just be dying in their little box, so Pohatu Penguin collect them and feed them by hand every single evening. And everybody is a winner with that, because the little blue penguins are getting fed and get strong enough to be released in the wild and be able to feed for themselves, and we are lucky enough to be able to encounter the little blue penguin closer than ever. It's a really intimate experience and it's awesome to see their behaviors.
They are really greedy. They are really greedy.
On top of Flea Bay having the largest penguin colony in New Zealand, they also have their own special species.
Little blue, this is a white flippard. So your white flippards are the Canterbury variant of the little penguin.
The team from Pohatu Penguins have been looking after these little blue penguins for years, and this lady here, Shireen, is actually Avril's auntie, so it's a family business as well. She's feeding the little blue penguins some anchovies by hand, and she feeds about 6 chicks while we're here. During this super close-up encounter of the penguin feeding, there's loads of different guides around telling us about the life cycles of these little blue penguins, and also they are super keen to answer all our questions. It's a really interactive session and feels like a real personal experience as well.
The feeding section is really interesting. First, we get to see those little chicks, which are all different stages of their life. Some of them still have a lot of down feathers, meaning that they're still really young and absolutely not ready to go in the wild by themselves. But some of them have completely lost their whole down feathers and they already look like adult little blue penguins, meaning that they're almost ready to be released. And after the interactive feeding session, it's time for us to go to see a lot of adult little blue penguins as we're heading toward the colony. Along the way we stop at a few boxes just to help with the counting, so we are opening the box, making sure that there is a lot of wet feces, meaning that the birds are still coming to the nest, and we're counting how many chick there is.
So we're actually looking at a variable oyster catcher with its chick. Yeah, so these are an endangered species, the variable oyster catchers, not to get confused with the pied oyster catcher.
As we are making our way toward the main colony, we see a lot of stuff, and dusk is the best time to check the blue penguin colony because that's the time of the day when they are coming back from fishing for the whole day out at sea.
Along a walking track on the cliff tops, there's loads of different viewing hides so we can watch the little blue penguins and not disturb their natural behaviour. But the penguins is not the only thing we're seeing seals and lots of other different seabirds and marine mammals. This tour felt like a super non-intrusive way to get close up to the little blue penguins. It was awesome.
Pretty much our campervan has broken down just after its warrant of fitness. How? How does that happen?
Every 6 months we get ourselves a certificate of fitness for the campervan so we can legally drive it in New Zealand, and today is the day.
Knowing this campervan like I do, I think it's going to have a very slim chance of passing its COF.
I think it's going to pass its COF for the first time in its life. This camper will pass the COF. So apparently our campervan did pass its COF, so it's a certificate of fitness. So our campervan is fit for the road. It's road worthy for an extra 6 months. How? I don't know, because it's clearly a piece of crap. But it's past its COF, so legally we can drive it for a little longer. Yay! And little did I know that banking on driving this campervan a little longer was really optimistic. As soon as we hit the road, we are stopped by a big engine failure. Just past the COF! Yay! There's no better feeling than parking the campervan on the side of the road, putting the warning signs on and trying to figure out what's wrong, right? Good thing is our activity today is at 6:30, so we've got plenty of time. Because the campervan is 3.5 ton, there is not even a chance for us to even be able to change a wheel by ourselves. So we have to call roadside assistance, which quickly have a look at the campervan and says, I think it don't have an engine anymore. So he's putting it on the back of the truck, and then we have to figure out where to put it and how to travel around.
Our campervan is getting a piggyback ride. Because it's stupid. Worthless. As we're making our way back to Christchurch in the roadside assistance truck, Robin is devising a plan of attack.
Fuck off.
Well, we might not get to do our activity tonight, so we need to film some stuff. Robin is phoning every car rental company in Christchurch because we don't want this adventure to end. We still want to be able to do 365 activities in 365 days.
Alright, so our campervan is in somewhere called Little River in the parking lot of a mechanic for the next week or so, because there were no one else that wanted to take our campervan for now. Now we are in a small shopping mall called Haswell, which is on the south of Christchurch, and we are waiting for a cab to make our way to the Christchurch airport, where we're going to pick up, believe it or not, a minibus from Juicy, because that's the last thing that they have, and they still got our back. And they are here, rising to the occasion, helping us for the second time when a couple fucks it up. Then we're going to make our way to Akaroa, where I actually found one of my friends that has a spare house. No, a spare...
Whose cousin
yeah,
has a...
Whose cousin, yeah. So a friend of mine whose cousin has a house in the back of a garden with a spare room in it, where we'll be able to spend our first night in Akaroa. It's only one night, so we still need to find the remaining 6 nights in Akaroa, and probably at 6 p.m. today, it is 4:15, but 6:30 today we are going on the tour. Oh, the taxi is here. We're going on the tour to go check out the Blue Penguins. That is a pretty epic journey mission today. Fucking hell. Alright, let's go.
After picking up our car from Juicy, we are then heading to the mechanics where our campervan is, manically packing up all we need for the next week in Akaroa, packing that into the Juicy car and making our way to Akaroa and to the Pohatu Penguins Tour on time.
Anyway, with this massive Damocles sword above our head, we arrive right on time for Pohatu Penguin Tour. Whew! What an intro!